and welcome to my channel. My name is Angelina and today I'm going to be talking about authors I have no interest in reading again. So this video was inspired by Heather from Hey Up Booktubes. I'll have her channel linked down below, but she did this video and I figured I would also do it and talk about some of the authors that I have previously read before, but I don't plan on ever picking up a book by them again. And this is going to be a pretty negative video, so if one of your favorites are in here, don't be upset. Most of these authors, just their writing personally didn't work for me. I do have some authors on here that are just problematic and I don't want to read just because I don't want to support them, but for the most part it's just authors that I didn't really care for the books that I have read, so why would I continue picking up books by them? Okay, so I have 10 authors on my little list here, and I could have added more to this, but I didn't want to make this video too long. I kind of wanted to keep it very short. But starting maybe a little bit controversial is Brandon Sanderson. So I have read The Way of Kings by him, and I gave this book 1 star. I absolutely hated it. I found nothing about it enjoyable. It was long, it was boring. I didn't care about anything in this book. So that has just really put me off of all of his books. All of his books are just really hyped and, you know, I'm glad so many people enjoy his books. I just don't ever see myself deciding to pick up and commit to a super long fantasy that I don't think I am going to enjoy. Also, none of the premises of his other books sound interesting, and yeah, why would I continue spending my time reading him if I don't think it's gonna work out? Next is Margaret Owens, and this is another author that I have read a previous book by and hated it. I don't even remember what the name of the book was. I'll have it somewhere on the screen, but I was really hyped for this book and I gave it 1 star. And that was just really disappointing. I just didn't like the writing style and the choices that the author decided to use in this book. And yeah, again, I don't have any interest in her other books. And I'm kind of moving away from YA fantasy. I rarely read them anymore. So yeah, this is just another author that I probably will never pick up another book by. So continuing in the same vein, Stephanie Garber, she is the author of Caraval, and I read this book back when it came out, which I think was 2016, and I think I was 13 at the time, and I gave it 3 stars. So if 13-year-old me was not impressed by this book, I don't see myself wanting to ever reread this book. I never ended up continuing in the series, and I have no plans to. Again, this is an author who writes primarily YA fantasy, which I don't read too much anymore. And yeah, I just don't see this being an author that I will ever read from again. Next is Emily A. Duncan, and this is the author who wrote Wicked Saints. And I read this book when it first came out. I gave it 3 stars. I wasn't too impressed and I had no plans of continuing the series. But since then, she has really shown her ass online. She has bullied reviewers and authors, and she has also come out as anti-Semitic and Islamophobic, and she is just overall not an author that I want to support. And yeah, that's pretty much the short of it. If I can find some of the things talking about that, I'll have them linked in the description for any of these authors who are problematic. I will try and find everything and link it down in the description below. But that is pretty much the short of her problematicness. I also believe she either is or was a youth librarian, and just having bullied people online isn't really the best look for someone who is supposed to be a role model for these younger people. Yeah, that is also just really disappointing, but yeah, she's definitely not an author I will ever read from again. All right, next is Victoria Aveyard, who is the author of Red Queen. I read this book. Well, I actually buddy read it with my friend, and we had a lot of fun making fun of this book. We were just constantly messaging each other about everything that we thought was stupid in this book. I definitely have no plans to continue in the series, and it has definitely put me off of reading any of her other books. I just have no interest in them whatsoever. This book just wasn't good. I honestly don't know what people like about this series or why it was ever so popular and why it has since got a resurgence on BookTok in popularity and stuff. I just don't understand it at all. Was very unimpressed. Yeah, just no desire to ever pick up another one of this author's books. Okay, so an author that I am sort of on the fence about is Jessica Goodman, and I read one of their books before, hated it, gave it 1 star, but I could see myself trying something else by this author if it was in a different genre, or even if she was just writing for an adult audience. That way she could do more. I just feel like her YA mystery thriller books don't do enough for me. But also, again, YA mystery thriller is not really a genre I am that much into anymore. So yeah, as long as she's writing for the young adult mystery thriller audience, I won't be picking up any of her books just because I did not like the one that I read, and I don't see myself liking any of them that she writes. So that is why she is on this list. The next author on this list is Tessa Bailey, and this is an author who is on this list purely as a reminder to myself to stop picking up her books, because I have picked up so many of them and I either DNF them or I rate them 1 or 2 stars. And I just need to finally give up on ever enjoying one of their books. I always read the premise and see the covers and I think I want to read that. But they never work out for me. They just aren't for me. And you know, that's fine. Disappointing, but fine. So Tessa Bailey is on this list just as a reminder to myself to stop picking up their books. Similar to that is Alexis Hall. I have DNF'd some of their books, and I have also rated 1 and 2 stars to some of their books, and I just need to remind myself to stop picking them up no matter how amazing the synopsis of them makes these books seem. This is not an author for me. I don't get along with their writing or their humor, and I just need to remind myself that if they write a book, to not pick it up because it is not for me. And I don't need to ruin this author's Goodreads ratings by rating it low or anything, because I do kind of understand why people would enjoy their books, just not for me. Okay, the next author is Mary E. Pearson, who is an author of a trilogy that I binged in 1 or 2 days. I don't even remember, but I hated this series so much, and I used to have them on my shelves. I have since gotten rid of them, but every time I would look at these books, I would just get so angry because there was nothing in these books that was good. I hated every moment of reading them, and I was sort of just binging the series because I had the entire series and I was kind of just having fun hate reading it, which, you know, sometimes we just need. But I cannot see myself ever picking up another book by this author and not thinking of all the stupid choices these characters made, just how nothing in these books really made sense or really came together at the end. Just the most pointless series in my opinion. I will not be reading another book by this author. However, before I picked up that trilogy, I did read a book by this author, which I gave 3 stars, and I found out that that book is sort of a spin-off series in the same world, but I never continued in that series because I didn't care enough. So yeah, I think this is just an author that will not be working for me. I don't care to ever pick up one of their books again. Just a big no for me. Okay, and the last author is Rainbow Rowell, and this is an author that I have only ever read 1 book by. I did not enjoy it. I believe when I read it, I was 14 at the time, so I feel like that possibly says a lot about me hating this book so much as a teenager with no thoughts really in my brain. But yeah, this author is also very problematic. Again, I will try to link whatever I can down in the description below. The one book that I read, again, don't remember the name of, but it'll be somewhere on the screen. This book has many racist remarks in it. It's just not a good book at all. And yeah, even if this author wasn't problematic, none of their books interest me at all. I have just never read one of the synopsis or looked at the cover and been like, I want to read that book. It's just never happened. I doubt it ever will happen. I just do not care about this author at all. And yeah, I just don't ever see myself reading another one of their books. But those are 10 authors that I have no interest in ever picking up again. Tell me if I should do a part 2, because I definitely have such a long list of authors like this who I've just read before and just have no interest in ever reading again. So definitely tell me if you would like to see a part 2 to this video. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and comment whatever you feel like commenting, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!